Would the members of the City Council please introduce themselves, starting on my far left?
Josh Medeiros, District 1.
Dave Mills, District 3.
Dave Zaleski, District 2.
Mary Fortier, District 3.
Greg Hahn, District 1.
And I'm Mayor Ellen Zaho-Satsu. Councilman Kelly is at the Board of Education monthly meeting, which unfortunately, due to last night's primary election, shifted all of our meetings to a night. He will be joining us shortly. We do have some media presence tonight, so if it was okay with the City Council, I'd like to ask that we move up our announcement section to the agenda to the first part of the agenda so that we can accommodate any other scheduling needs that they may have, and we can share our good news about what's happening in Bristol today with the world.
So second.
Discussion on moving announcements to the first item of the agenda. Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. So tonight we are very excited to make public something that the Bristol Development Authority and the Mayor's Office has been working on for about 3 months. It became known to us at the beginning of the summer, and maybe a little before, that we had interest from Amazon to come into Bristol and launch their first ever delivery point station here as part of their new business plan, where they're going to be doing the, quote, last mile, which means they're going to have a center here, and that is going to be the last point where a package touches an Amazon employee before it's brought to people's actual addresses. So we are going to have, in our 229 Technology Park, Amazon Logistics, and they are actually launching at the end of this month. And the big piece of what we're very excited about is the fact that this is going to add to the jobs mosaic of what we offer here in Bristol. And it is going to be a very unique type of permanent part-time positions to start with. And right at the onset, they're going to be ramping up with 100 new jobs starting on August 25th. So in terms of what this means for Bristol, we as policymakers are going to welcome them because we have a very strong reputation in terms of economic development and welcoming all kinds of businesses. This one's unique in that the majority of their job slots are going to be used from 1 a.m. until 8 a.m., which is their busy time in terms of moving those packages and getting them ready for delivery and pickup by the delivery systems. They will also be doing swing shifts in the morning that are part-time permanent, as well as an afternoon part-time permanent. The exciting news, however, is that as they ramp up for whatever Amazon deems their peak delivery times, as well as increased demand times, and I'm assuming part of that is probably their holiday schedule, they're anticipating that their jobs are going to increase much more. One estimate that we heard was 500. We had somebody else from their team tell us it could be more. We are going to be remaining conservative and just say there's going to be additional jobs coming here as their peak season comes through the holidays. What's really important, though, for the role that we have here is to understand the need of connecting our community to these jobs. Our industrial park has been a boon to our grand list ever since it was put into place in the late 70s, early 80s, and it continues to pay dividends. But what hasn't happened is the connectivity of public transportation. And so today we spent some time communicating with the Office of Commissioner Redeker at the Department of Transportation, with our friends in the Governor's Office, DECD, and actually Naugatuck Valley Council of Governments, of which we belong, are a member, and we are relying heavily on their transportation strategy people that are on staff there to help us create a strategy in order to bring public transportation to that end of our city. Not only do we have our industrial park, but we have ESPN, we have a hospital, we have a hotel. Many of these run third shifts. So really the challenge is going to continue to be connecting these jobs with the people in our community, because Jobs First for Bristol is important, but we're also understanding that we're part of a region. And our transportation challenge as well, being much improved with the new fast track buses, which you see frequently coming through Bristol, our local routes as well as our extended regional routes, they're not going to be enough to sustain an effective operation and have people connected with these jobs. These jobs are going to be perfect for people who are actually entering the workforce. They're going to be perfect for people who may need the extra income of a second job, or for those families that actually need the flexibility and have to flex schedules because of childcare or other issues. So it's really important to us to make sure that we do this in the right way. And we're really relying on our state partners and as well as the planning agencies and others to help us get this done. Most importantly, we are just really thrilled that we are going to have yet another Fortune 500 company here in Bristol. And I think that with this business plan and the connectivity that we're going to have, especially within the region, that we're hoping that this growth actually exceeds their expectations as well. So, with that being said, we did have some Amazon friends stop by today, and they brought us some T-shirts. And so, in order to be in the spirit, you're going to wear one for the meeting. You can wear one for the meeting. And a large. Councilman Mills, you can have one too. Sporting events. Josh, you can have a koozie because you're young. And Greg, you like craft beer, you can have that too. And I will keep my pens. So, this has been a really great day. I want to thank Justin Malley for all of his help. It's been a little crazy. There was a lot of issues that arose that really needed to be dealt with on a day-to-day basis. But finally, over the weekend, we finally felt that things were solidifying. The connections were made with corporate. The connections were made with the staffing agencies. And tonight we are going to, at about, I think, scheduled for 7:45, on our Facebook Mayor's Office page will be all the access information for people who are interested in applying for these jobs. There will be a link that they will click immediately. And the really nice thing, the way they do this, is that you will be able to apply online. You will be able to do an assessment online. You will then be emailed from Amazon Logistics and told to come to a hiring event. And we have, in fact, offered them space here at the City Hall in order to facilitate that due to our central location. You will come in, you will give permission for a background check, you will give permission for a drug screening that they will do on site with a swab test. At that point, you will be offered a contingent offer of employment, pending the outcome of your background and your drug screening, and you will then be emailed your schedule. So this is something that can have an automatic economic impact almost immediately on families who may need these types of positions. So that additional information about the staffing, and I encourage those of you who have Facebook access to share our page and get it out to as many people, because again, as a community, the more people that we can have employed or have the means to earn incomes that can bolster their family incomes, the better off we're all going to be. Does anybody have any questions in general about what we're doing? Okay, well, thank you, everyone. I'd like to ask for a 5-minute recess so that the media that are here covering us can disassemble and dismantle what they need to do without disrupting our meeting. And if any of us are available, we can answer any questions that you may have. But is there a motion for a 5-minute recess?
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we are adjourned until 7:25. Thank you. Okay, I'd like to ask for everyone to come back into our regular session following our recess. Is there a motion to reconvene?
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, I will turn the agenda over to Therese for a reading of our agenda items, starting with item 2.
Approval of minutes of the regular City Council meeting on July 10th, 2018, special meetings on July 19th, 2018, and July 31st, 2018, and public hearing on July 19th, 2018.
Move to accept.
Second.
Any discussion on any of the sets of minutes that were distributed? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Your Honor, I have to abstain to July 31st. I was in attendance.
Okay, please note Councilman Pileski's abstention for July 31st. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Our next item is public participation, and we have a nonprofit spotlight featuring our Greater Bristol Realty Corporation, and speaking on behalf of that organization is Craig Miner.
Good evening, Mayor Zavasasu and members of the Bristol City Council. My name is Craig Miner, and as Treasurer of the Greater Bristol Realty Corporation, I want to thank you for this opportunity to share with you our story. The GBRC is a very small, all-volunteer 501c3 whose mission is to create first-time homeownership opportunities for moderate-income families in Bristol. Using the individual and varied expertise of our board members, the GBRC acquires underutilized land in residential neighborhoods and converts it into building lots. We then partner with other nonprofits to put houses on those lots and to match them with moderate-income first-time homeowners, home buyers. Our first project was a 3-lot subdivision off of Lake Avenue in 2015, where we worked with Habitat for Humanity and ESPN to create 3 new homes. We also partnered with Habitat to build a single house on Benham Street in 2016. Our current project is a 3-lot subdivision on Pine Street. This is a piece of land that was left over when DOT built the expressway from Forestville to Route 229. GBRC bought the parcel from DOT, and we are in the process of having it approved by the Planning Commission as 3 building lots. After the subdivision is approved, the GBRC will convey those lots to Neighborhood Housing Services of New Britain. NHS is working with local architect Charles Nyberg and Liberty Bank to construct 3 houses and to obtain affordable mortgages for the buyers. Our past projects have been exclusively new construction, but the GBRC would love to tackle a rehab project. So if anyone knows of a nice fixer-upper that we can get for a song, please let me know. We are also looking to expand our board of directors, so if you are interested in helping us with our mission of first-time homeownership for moderate income first-time homeowners, please call me. With me tonight are 2 of our 5 board members, Linda Lubrico and Dave Haberfeld. Our president, Mark Rack, is in California this week. So thank you again, Mayor Zaposasu, for this opportunity to let folks know about the GBRC. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I think that it was a very appropriate timing, even though it wasn't intended, since we're actually having a conversation about jobs, and the housing data profile that we're going to talk about next shows that Bristol's annual median household income is only $61,478, which is 13% less than Connecticut's median household income. We have a lot of housing income issues, and the housing wage for Bristol for 2017 is $23.31. That's what people spend per capita on housing. And so quality housing is especially important. So I think that this is something that we work with within code enforcement. It's something that the Neighborhood Housing Services is going to be a great partner with, and it's something that I think with BDA there could be opportunities to partner with and leveraging their funds as well for housing rehabilitation.
Yes, I believe the NHS will be approaching the BDA for some funding. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We are actually part of Sustainable Connecticut an energy group, and we have a Partnership for Strong Communities housing data profile. Is anybody here to present on that? So basically this has to appear on our agenda in order for us to continue our work with Sustainable Connecticut. And what it is, and it was attached to our agenda, it is dissemination and an education piece for council members as well as members of the public, becoming more familiar with our median household income, which I mentioned earlier. We are about $5,000 less than Hartford County, and we are about $10,000 less than Connecticut in general. There's also some really interesting information included in this report concerning our housing costs for owners and renters, the characteristics of our housing stock, housing costs and income, and our market information. So for any of you who might have had the opportunity to review our data profile, there's a really good story behind the numbers, but it's also something that we need to be cognizant about as we continue to implement our plan of conservation and development, as well as look at other opportunities. And also just really recognize that we have a large amount of our socioeconomic population spending a lot of money on housing. Okay, for public participation sign-up, I have one person, and it is Sean Rust from Lancaster Road, and he would like to speak to us on the TIF proposal.
Good evening. I was wondering, is that information available for the public?
It is attached to our council agenda.
Excellent,
Yes.
thank you. Okay, I spoke at the special meeting, so I know you know where I'm coming from with the transparency issue with the TIF proposal. Public hearing, you only had 2 people speak. One of them was a member of city government, the other one's myself. I spoke to about 50 people last night at the polls, asking if they were aware that there's a special meeting for this city council for a public hearing for TIF master plan. Not one single person was aware. I also spoke to people in passing at work and around the community, and no one's aware of it. And unfortunately, the plan that the city had on their website was absent of details. I appreciate Justin Nally gave me some information that he does have that's got some numbers punched in there. I'm not sure if they're solid or whatever, but one concerning thing is estimated maximum public indebtedness, $40,850,000. I think that's a really huge number. I think the public should be aware of that. The public should also be aware about what we're using the tax incremental financing master plan for. The state legislation pretty much falls in line with what the city document says, but it details a little bit more. It talks about transit-oriented development, affordable housing, addressing blight, property acquisition, and in particular property acquisition using whatever means are allowable by state law. We all know the state can use eminent domain to take property. So I'm very concerned about that, and I really strongly urge the city to reach out to property owners within this TIF district. If we're going to create a district that's going to be specific to property owners from West Street all the way to down South Street and to Bellevue, all the way to Route 6, and it gives different opportunities and also different concerns to people that live in the area. They need to be made aware of that. Just simply referring to the plan of development does not inform the public, does not give representative government or transparency through this process. If you look back 3 years, you can't look at it in the city website because all of the minutes got wiped out when we redid the website or for whatever reason, but you can still look on my YouTube channel and you can see a bunch of people came because they were really concerned that a private developer called Renaissance Downtowns was going to build, I don't know if you want to call it market rate housing or affordable housing, or the terms I think are interchangeable. Right over here they wanted $6 million of taxpayer money to build that building. More people came out and spoke against that proposal than spoke in favor of it. The newspaper, sadly, was devoid of the details of that. City minutes, actually, were kind of the same. And so, I mean, we're light years away from informing the public, and I think this is a huge thing. $40 million possibly to spend on I understand it's not cement or whatever, but it's just, we're not going about doing this the right way. I don't think it's not proper. It's not representative government. That's all I have to say about it. Thank you.
Okay, just to be clear, we're not spending $40 million on anything.
Well, it says maximum public indebtedness, $40 million on the paper that your development authority official just gave me.
Nothing's being spent at this point. Councilman Pulaski, did you
That's
want to address?
maximum amount of indebtedness.
Okay.
You know, Sean, I've always respected you because you are the champion of transparency. You keep everybody on their toes, because earlier in the meeting you said that some of the information that might have been out on the website might not have been up to date, and I think Justin wanted to check that out to make sure it is up to date, because those things are, it's a process. As you
I
know,
appreciate
right?
that.
But, you know, in fairness, one of the comments you made was that we haven't done a good enough job, and that's a relative term, right, in terms of what we can do to educate people.
My opinion.
Listen, that's fine. I respect that. The point is, it's a very complicated issue, and it's very difficult to boil it down to a level. You know, it takes more like one-on-one. It takes more interaction than sometimes a general statement can be, because it's very complicated. We've published a lot of different things, and we've gotten questions over and over again, which suggests that it's very difficult material to represent. We've had public hearings. We've just had charter revision going throughout the summer. Our ordinance committee, we've had probably 10 public hearings, and we've had one person, maybe you, attend these things. So, you know, that's not our fault. We try our best, and we, as a body here, I will tell you, all these people I work with here are always open to phone calls. You know, we work weekends and doing some of this stuff, and it's really got to be a two-way street. And I respect your point of view, but it's a relative term. You know what I'm saying?
I'm not going to try to pick apart, you know, what members of the council did and didn't do, or what the newspaper did or didn't do. Press releases. I mean, I could do that, but it's not going to do anybody good. I'm just saying we can do better. I mean, look back at the Plan of Conservation and Development. I listened to our former city planner say it's really hard to inform the people about what is going on and let them know there's a public meeting and get them to come to it. And I totally understand that. But I stand firm on my belief that if the city took the money they spent on donuts and water and stuff, then put it in the back of the building and they put a postage stamp on the plan of development and sent it to people that are on the Route 6 corridor, it would have cost about the same amount of money. And the city of Shelton can do it, we can do it. If I can create a Facebook page and share a public hearing with everyone, so can each and every one of you.
Listen, my only point is, listen, I respect your point of view, but I want you to know that we can only do so much. No, listen to me. All this stuff is important, and when we reach out, there's got to be a two-way street. I don't want people to think that we don't try, because that's not the case. It's a relative term. We could always do better, right?
I could only offer you advice on how to do better. I cannot make you follow my advice.
Well,
thank you.
I appreciate your point of view.
Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anybody here tonight who would like to address the City Council that may have missed the public sign-up for public participation? Okay. Hearing none, we're going to move on to our announcement section. We have 3 employee recognitions that I'm going to go through briefly. The first one is that we